Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are tuned into the Chick Chat right here on your favorite TV station. We are shooting this particular episode at Willow Tree Guest House in Glenmarais. If you are in Kempton Park and surrounding areas, please do hit them up on the number that appears on your screen. We are back at it, and today we are speaking all things acting because my guest is an actress, a content producer, and a casting director. She has appeared on numerous primetime TV shows, including Generations, The Legacy, Sokulu and Partners, Ghetto Goblin, and Feminine Lotus, to mention but a few. She's also the leading lady on the Dispring advert. Please do help me put my hands together for the ever so beautiful and talented Petunia Modisapodi. You look so stunning.
Thank you, so do you.
Thank you. I feel like the guests that come on here feel obliged to say I also look nice. They're also
No,
like,
but you do.
Nice.
You
And I'm
do,
like,
generally. You do.
Thank you so much. When I was researching you, very hard to research. This girl doesn't put anything online, guys. It was so frustrating also. But I thought we should ask you who exactly Petunia is, because we don't know who Petunia is. We just know the actress, but I'm sure you layered.
Okay. That's a question I did not expect. Feel like I'm in like one of those interviews.
It is one of
and
those.
then you're like,
It's Tembisa Kappa.
I don't know what to say. But anyway, I am a wife, I am a mother, and I'm an actress. Yeah.
Do you also feel like you're bragging? Because I have friends of mine who feel like when you ask them, who are you? They're like, I'm scared to brag, I don't want to feel like I'm, putting myself out there. Do you feel the same?
I do sometimes. Like, I feel like there's a thin line between being proud, which is something I have no problem with, and bragging. Bragging is, it's oil and water to me. I can't be like, hey, this is what I did. I just feel so uncomfortable about it. Yeah, I'd rather just keep quiet and then let you find out when you find out.
I want to go back to your genesis, right?
Yeah.
You grew up in this place that I can't pronounce. What?
Schweizereneke.
I don't know how to pronounce that name. And you moved to Klerksdorp.
Yes.
Then you moved to the Free State.
Yes.
And then ended up in Joburg.
Yes.
And I want to know how being the new girl shaped the adult that you are.
Phew. For me, I would say it taught me how to be able to relate with people. It just comes so naturally to me. I don't even have to try doing it, I've changed schools like 6 times in my life. I was always the new girl. So, and in each and every school that I went to, there was never like oh, she's weird or she's a loser or whatever. Somehow I just always blended in with the popular people. And I wasn't even looking for it. I just found out later that, oh, you guys are popular. Oh, okay, cool. But we just vibed just on a level of like energy and just, we just like each other.
Yeah.
So that's how it's always been for me. So it's very, very easy for me to step into a new environment even and to just, take up space. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it taking up space. Look. Don't come for me, Zosie. Don't come for me. But yeah, it definitely gave me that.
Does it help you as an actress? Because, as an actress, you have to, interchange. You have to adapt to new environments all the time. Does it help you as an actress?
I think partly. I think just it's a quality that I myself possess just as a human being. But when you step into a professional environment, then things just kind of become a little bit different. Yeah. Because and then hey, you have to listen to what the director is saying. You have to, zoom space, be comfortable with your surroundings because different productions work differently, different sets work differently, different directors, work differently. The space is never the same. Yeah. So I would say that partly, but also it's about also just holding back a little bit and then assess the environment before you go into it, and then I guess once you're comfortable with it, then you can just
absolutely
to yourself.
Hanse o move o ya go Klerksdorp o ya go Joburg, Free State. Nanzo tseba hore o batla ba actress.
Yes.
Oh
so
my
gosh.
Known.
Listen, let me tell you. Wa mo tseba Queen Maroka.
Hey.
Wa go Generations.
O batla ba Queen.
Listen. I thought I was queen. Watching Generations.
Really?
Listen, like coming from a small town, when I saw people like that on Generations, where, when you were, in that surrounding, I don't remember seeing a white person or white people or whatever. I wasn't really aware of those things because it was kind of in the middle of apartheid, but apartheid in Efela.
Yes.
So that's the time that I was growing up. And I just don't remember seeing white people. And I don't remember seeing affluent black people.
Yes.
Also in my surrounding. It was like black people stay in the township, that's it. You go to, the store or Yakutoropong, that's when you see a white person, but it's not really like a mingly kind of thing. So to see people like the Moroccas living in the burbs, running a company, like doing all of these things that like are associated with like white people, for me, taught me that there's something much more bigger than what I'm seeing around me. And that I was like, oh my gosh, that's mind-blowing. And Queen just she was just so fabulous, man. Who doesn't want to be fabulous? Like, she's just that girl, we're English, she has like the best nails, she's always looking so pretty, she just loves to be pretty. And I saw that and I was just like I was just fascinated by that, you know. And I would have like my little skits in my head in front of my family. So yeah, that I think generations shaped me a lot, and it made me curious and made me want that, but I didn't really know it was acting. I just want to know that I didn't like about all.
That generations was a game changer. But what's fascinating me, we're going to speak about your acting a little later on, but what's fascinating me is that you did end up on Generations. That you spoke it into existence.
Yes!
Like I don't know if you saw me, I was smiling the whole time, like, oh my god, you actually ended up on Generations.
Now that you think, now that you're saying it, I'm actually like realizing that that's actually a thing.
Yes.
I never stopped to think about that actually being like, wow.
Yeah, wow,
like,
girl.
Wow, actually,
You must speak Ori, Tyler Perry,
Bona, we are here.
Meryl Streep, call all of them. It will
Bona,
happen.
Ava DuVernay.
Listen here.
Listen,
I'm so excited for that. I actually can't wait to see you on our big screens.
Oh, Leni.
Listen, this girl is talented. But I want to also, I'll give a backtrack back to Joburg. You going to Wits, you're Witzy, right? Graduated there, got drama again. And you are in an industry where we're moving towards digital, where people are getting cast because, they're pretty. This is the honest truth about our industry. They're pretty, they have influence. And I want to know how important is it for you to, for other kids who want to be actresses, to study the craft and understand it at an academic level?
I think that's very important. I think it's so important. I think, firstly, you start to understand that this is not a hobby.
Yes.
Firstly, because when you go to school, it makes you respect.
Yes, 100%.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Put a full stop on that respect.
I hope the parents are watching because they think it's a hobby. They don't think it's a career.
Listen, it makes you respect the craft and work for the craft.
Yes.
So it teaches you how to apply your craft. It opens your mind up to so much, you know, like when you don't know what acting is about, when you're looking at, the television, you're like, oh, this thing is easy. Okay. And then now you have to do it. Those things are like two very different things. We all think we can act. Even I thought, hey, even me, I can do it. Until I had to go to auditions, until I had to go to drama school, and then I found out that, oh no, actually there's more to this thing. There's method, there's techniques, there's all of these things that we have to employ before we even step, in front of the camera. It's about doing the work. It's about, putting yourself inside the character, doing the research. There's so much that goes into acting. So much. Yeah. And I think that people, they just don't get it. Yeah. Also, when you go to school, it increases your chances of getting jobs. There's some people that have it like just naturally, like, they were doing accounting or whatever, and then they were like, oh, this is my passion. And then they go to their first audition and they get it. And that's because that person just naturally have it. But for the most part, people have to work at their craft. Again, it's a craft.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very important. It's very, very important.
I agree with you.
Especially now when going into the industry, there's a lot of universities that are offering drama. And when you're looking for an agent, the number one requirement nowadays is did you study?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, I'm in second year, I'm studying. They're like, okay, come back when you're done. only then will they kind of look at you or whatever, because there's so many unemployed people who are capable, who aren't working. So it's not just an industry, for people who think they can just, make it because they're pretty and, I don't know, they were told that they were the next best thing in their high school. No, it's you have there's work. Yeah, there's work, and they're starting to take it like much more seriously.
True.
And so is the rest of the industry. And agents as well. Like it's close to impossible to get an agent really without papers. But there are exceptions, like I said. It's not the end all and be all. If you believe that you're talented, that's fine. If you can't afford to go to school and stuff, that's fine. But read books, go to acting workshops. There's so many workshops all the time. There's so many, throughout the year. This malanyana 6 weeks, this malanyana 3 weeks, simole, get an acting coach. There's so many acting coaches. Like invest in the craft. It's very important. It's very important.
I agree with you. Agree. Go to school, guys. Ne?
Go to
school. Speaking of acting, I want to take you back to your first, well, not first, might not be the first, but I think it was like when I started seeing you on screen. Ghetto Goblin. You said the name changed. You were like, what's Ghetto Goblin?
I was like, what the hell?
It was
what are you?
It was
Blood Tokoloshi when I shot it. Like, I remember my husband was like, on IMDb, he was like, oh, they changed the name.
Yes.
And I was like, what are you? He was like, oh, Ghetto Goblin. I was like, oh, okay. No offense to like the producers, it's their choice. But when I shot it, it was called Blood Tokoloshi. I remember shooting Blood Tokoloshi.
And I was watching you. I was watching you do your thing. And I couldn't help but feel that you were so fearless. I don't know. I could feel hunger in that character. There was so much hunger. I could feel it. The way you did the scenes, the way you like yielded to that character. Wow. And I was very fascinated in how you prepared for it.
First of all, I would say that because it was my first production, like ever in life.
Explains that.
Can I tell you how I got the gig?
How did you get it?
Can I tell you?
You did an audition?
No,
Did you get
no,
pretty?
wait, I did. Girl.
I mean,
girl.
No, I'm joking. She's talented enough. She's talented enough, but she's also pretty, so
I was looking for like an internship with like a production company, and I sent all the production companies like a letter, and at that time, Miriam Productions it was shooting or something like that, or they were going into production, and they were like, oh, listen, there's no internship positions available, but we are having auditions, come or whatever if you're interested. And then I went, and then I got it, and I was a lead.
Yes.
Like my first professional anything, and I'm like the lead, and I'm like, oh wow, like wow, So I was very, very, very hungry. So it just touches my heart so much when you tell me that you could sense the hunger, because that's exactly what I was. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was learning, and I was hungry, and I was wanting to learn, and enjoy myself, and find out what is this thing called production, how does it work, because all I knew was like, I guess, the school aspect of it, or theory or whatever, but now I was actually with professional people doing the thing. So I don't know if I answered your question. I can't quite remember the question.
I'll tell you.
I'll
tell you the question just now. Because I want to tell you my favorite scene in that movie.
Oh!
Hey!
Oh, okay.
When she was there on the bed doing the things. I was like, hey now. No, it was a beautiful scene. It was a very beautiful scene. I loved it. It was a sex scene, by the way.
I hope my mother is not watching. I hope my in-laws are not watching. I hope my husband not watching.
Have you seen that movie?
No, he hasn't seen it.
Ooh.
He hasn't seen it. Yeah.
Hectic.
And now I'm thinking, he's
gonna watch it now.
He can pass.
Yeah, but he warned you though. It's okay. It wasn't that deep. He's the director. He knows. He knows. It's just acting. How is it shooting sex scenes? They scare me so much. They Scare me.
It's actually not that. It's more technical than anything. And I remember in blood topology, that was like my first like kiss or anything like that, you know. Yeah, but the guy made me feel comfortable and all of that stuff, but it was just weird. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then I remember something that changed my life was the second kind of sex scene that I did in my career, where I was just like, I don't know, you know, where I auditioned for some, it was a short film, and we shot it. I was supposed to be there for a day, and then the producer and director or whatever saw me, and they were like, oh, hey, you've got a nice body or whatever, come tomorrow. And they gave me a few lines, they gave me a character. I had a scene, like an actual talking scene. I played the lady's PA, right? And then after that, I had like a sex scene because I guess my character was sleeping with the husband. It was that kind of thing. And from that, I don't know, there was just something about it that for me took away my dignity in a way, in a little bit. The fact that in hindsight, now looking at it, that you can cost me based on, oh, you've got a nice body, therefore you can have a sex scene. You know, I won't lie, they were respectful. It was, you know, it was also the same as kind of like with blood topology. It wasn't revealing, it wasn't, but I think for me it was a little bit more graphic because they wanted like the emotions and then I was the lady on top, and you know, but in the blankets it was, you know, still. Yeah, I think for me that taught me that just because there's no nudity or whatever, you know, there's just something that I'm just not willing to do. And that's just one of them. I think I don't have a problem with maybe whatever, and then we sleep or whatever, but the actual motioning of that for me, I could not handle, but only in hindsight. I didn't know that. But but I've learned from it. I've learned from it.
I did a sex scene, guys.
Whoa! Tell me
it
more.
was technical. It was very technical, and it was in the dark. And I don't think anyone knows about this, guys. It was a threesome. It was two. And I was just like, oh my god, I don't want people to know about this.
Because for me, it's like, you know, your parents are gonna watch this eventually.
No, they won't. My parents, no. No, they're old. They can't watch it. No.
Digital world, social media. You know, people be ousting people.
It wasn't hectic because we were not doing anything hectic. We shot it during COVID, so we're still following precautions and regulations and stuff. So it wasn't like intense or whatever. And also there was a girl, so I felt a bit safe. I think I would have felt uncomfortable if it was just me and a guy. And I'm alluding to a bigger conversation. You just mentioned now that you were cast because you've got a nice body. The talent doesn't matter. And obviously this opens up to a bigger conversation in the acting industry. You know what I mean? Of sexual harassment, where actors are complaining about, being cast or being touched in a different way. And I want to know your thoughts about that now.
I think it's so unfortunate that we are in an industry that has made that a norm. Let me say in the past has made that a norm, where people were scared to speak out because they were being sexually harassed. And by the way, harassment doesn't only involve like touching someone. Harassment starts from the way you look at somebody. Those eyes, it's a thirst. Hali, let me tell you, that is harassment. That is the first level of harassment. If I tell you that we're taking whichever otherwise, and I don't like the way you looking at me, and then you continue, and then it goes from the way you're looking at me to now rubbing up, and then to now touching me, and it just it just kind of transcends after that. For me, I'm very happy that the things that are happening now are happening, so that light can be shed on it, so that they can be changed, within the industry, because it can't stay like that any longer. Like, I was gonna say there's an actress who came out recently, I think a month ago, and she was talking about the fact that she was sexually harassed. Like, it also started from, hey, you have a nice ass, whatever, to now since they're untouched or whatever, inappropriately. And she was like, well, I didn't I don't have to sleep with anyone to get here, so don't treat me like I had to, sleep with anyone or whatever. I'm a professional audition and all of that stuff. And so then it opens that conversation as well. How do we treat our fellow colleagues as professionals and not just because on a sex scene or whatever, just because she's attractive, she's the new thing on the blog or whatever. We're not professionally. Where is the limit? Where is the limit? Because we all know here that we are creating a world. We are playing something. I'm not really, if we're sleeping together, I'm not really sleeping with you, so you can't treat me like I'm sleeping with you for reals, you know? I think it just opened a conversation of like just professionalism and how people are treated on set, males and females, because it also happens to males too, as well. Terry Crews was talking about it, like how he also like had a similar thing. And you would think it's only ladies really, but even men do it, but for them it's worse because now it's like, they're not man enough or whatever. What is that implication? It just goes, the roots get deeper for them, but it does happen. But I'm very glad that this is definitely happening, because now we know we have a voice. Now we know that we can complain, we can go to the producer and be like, hey, this guy looked at me, young, he said this or whatever, have it on record, all of those things that he did, so that you've got something to back you up. But more than that, we know that now we can be believed as women.
True.
Whereas before, we didn't have a voice. When we said what we said, things were just kind of, maybe it's something you said, or, the way you dressed or whatever. Now it's no longer those things. Now it's, no.
And no. I remember I was watching an interview at Rami Chweni. Shout out to Rami. She's really fighting for the actors. And before, I want to move on to the next question, but I need to say this on camera. She said, so McG asked him if she thought she would do it, if she would have sex to get a role, right? And the question was structured in a way that it felt like, the woman is cheap for allowing it. And then Rami said, no, it's not the woman who's cheap, it's the man who's abusing the power. And I really needed to say that we shouldn't shame people who end up doing that, because they are helpless. They're trying to survive in an industry that is so ruthless and that is so saturated, and we should never find ourselves saying the woman is wrong for doing it, and I want to move on to Generations, the legacy, and Sakulu and Partners. Yo, this was heavy.
Listen,
I want to know how your time was there on the two different sets.
I got Sakulu and Partners before. It was actually my first gig, my first gig when I got my new agent. She's my third agent, and I've been with her for 3 years now. So the others were they were just empty promises, never send you to auditions, all of that stuff. This one was like, this was proper, and I got it. I went to go shoot, and it was like I said, every set is different. You learn the people, there's different energies. There's sets where it's like a bit tight, people are tight, you can't really be free, and then there's certain sets where you're just like, hey, YOLO, like life is fun. And Sakulu was nice. It was light. It was, people were doing their jobs, but it wasn't like too restraining. So I would say I had a good experience there. It's definitely one of the lighter kind of productions that I've done. Shows.
Generations,
hey, let me tell you something about Generations. It's a well-oiled machine. Like what you're supposed to do, that's what they mean. Nobody's gonna like hold your hand or whatever, but it was also lovely. It was a different kind of environment and an experience for me. It was like, okay, I knew that I need to be on the monies. I need to be on the monies, because normally they'll give you like a few takes. Good Generations, one take. Serious? One take. Yo. If you mess it up, you fluff. That's what they'll say. Yeah.
Really?
It's like, yeah, you need to be on your mark. There's no time to be, oh, I'm still finding my stuff. No, there's no time for that. You come in, you execute your job beautifully, and you're out. It's a well-oiled machine. It runs. It runs.
And the Dispring ad that annoys all of us. Oh, that boy. I'm like, oh, Mudimu. My dad. Like, that's my friend. So, how was shooting that?
Now that you ask, can I tell you, it was so cold. It
Doesn't look cold.
Right?
It doesn't
Right?
look cold.
You know why? Because I think one of they set it to be like summer or whatever. But we shot it in winter in July. I will never forget. In July, there was a cold front. On top of that, we were shooting like by a lake.
Oh my gosh.
Call time was like 4 o'clock. Oh, it was cold. It was cold. That's what I remember about that Disprin ad shooting it. It was cold.
I'm thinking even when you were doing this, you were like, oh my god.
Listen, I'm like, hey! Listen, you know, but it was so lovely, Shem. It was so lovely. And the kid, when we went for like the callback with the kid, I looked at the kid and he was just so like sweet. You know, he came with this mom and I was like, oh, you're so sweet. And I spoke to him and he was just so sweet and kind. And I was like, to the director, can this kid really like throw a tantrum? He was like, listen. listen. And then he actually did it on the day. I could not believe it.
Wow.
Literally on cue every single time. He did it so proper. Like I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, he did it proper.
Wow. Like he annoyed me. So you know, listen. And you know something that just it's just so funny is how this ad like literally ran for like 2 years. Like my phone would not stop ringing.
Yeah.
Like people are, I just saw you on TV.
Yeah.
I just, you know.
I'm
and
one
it
of
was
those
just,
people.
Yeah, you are. Oof.
I always text them.
Ooh, you
I
can
just
push.
saw you on TV.
You
Oh my
can
god! That time I'm seeing it for like the 100th time.
Leni,
But, you know.
listen, you can push a person. But yeah. I think for me, I don't know, it just did something for me. You know how in the hood people are just like, hey, why actor mole or whatever. And the fact that they see it every single day is like, okay, we get it now. Okay,
Yes.
she's doing something, you know. But then also they're rooting for you. It was so encouraging, just the messages and stuff that I was getting from people.
Plus, what like session?
Listen.
Oh, you're an actress, or yeah, but oh, where did you?
Kukai,
act?
yes.
Kukai.
And you're like,
there's like different
Stuff,
mediums
you
to
know?
act on, commercials, theater,
That's so true.
Yeah.
Now you can actually say. Actually, you don't even need to say because they saw it. They
saw
can,
it.
they're just like, oh, I saw you. You know, it was lovely. It did that for me. It
Yeah.
just touched my soul. It encouraged me. It motivated me to keep going.
Tando.
Yeah.
Feminine Lotus. That girl is evil.
Listen.
You play, for just a bit of information for people who haven't watched Feminine Lotus, you play a transphobic sister. I was sitting there watching you and I'm like, where did you get that? Because I know you. You're a very sweet person. You're very bubbly. You're very warm, you know? But that girl I saw on TV ain't warm. No, she's cold.
Yeah.
She's cold. And I want to know what went into you sourcing and digging deep into finding Tando?
Can I tell you something interesting? I actually only found Tando on set, to be honest. I read the lines, I interrogated the script, I understood the characters, I understood the character, the story as a whole. But I only found Tando on set. Tando came alive on set. Wow. And I feel like part of the reason for that is the amazing cast that I was playing alongside. You know, I understood Tando. I understood where she was coming from. But it wasn't until I was playing alongside, my cast members that they fed me. Oh, they played.
Yeah.
Oh, they played with
They
me.
did, yes.
And they took it out of me. And even as I was playing Tando, I was even like, hey, what's going on? Who is this
Come on,
person?
oh.
They just let me be free. Like,
Yeah.
go to that
Yeah.
ultimate extreme. Like, just their reactions from their characters,
Yeah.
the hurt, the like suspense, they're like, no, don't do that. And I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch
Oh,
it.
this is Tando. I'm looking at Tando. She just jumped out because that ain't Petunia.
Listen, Tando was the most yummiest character I've ever played in my whole entire life. Let me tell you. And I actually pray for more antagonistic characters. I enjoy playing antagonists because they're so different. Yeah. It's like, because you can see I'm bubbly up, I'm like just, so warm and all of that stuff. And then to play someone so cold and so stoic. Yeah. And so like serious and like focused and all of that stuff, that was nothing like me. And I think that's what was fun about it. I got to escape and be very, very different and go into someone else and someone else's world. It, for me, felt like an out-of-body experience. Yeah.
How was it being directed by somebody close to your heart? I'm not going to say who he is or she is to her, but how was it being directed by that person?
It was amazing.
He's good. She's
very
good.
Good.
He, she. Should I say it's a he?
It's a he.
Okay. She's very private.
Don't confuse the masses. Don't.
I want to, but you're
don't
private
confuse
person.
the masses.
Okay. How was it being directed by Habi?
It was really nice. He really understands talent. He understands how to get things out of talent as well. He understands actors. I'm an actor, so so he knows what to say to get you to do something. Some directors will be like, well, say it like this, and then they'll want to direct you how to say it and actually show you. He doesn't do that. He's like, okay, say it like you're pissed off or what. Like literally, he's so he's so attentive that he'll look and he'll be like, okay, something's not sitting. I don't know, something's not, and then he'll be like, okay, say it like this or change this or whatever. And that, just from that one note, is very specific. That one note makes your performance come to life. I've seen him do it, with other people. I've seen him do it with me as well, especially with Tando. Where he was like, I remember the first scene that I did, which is why I found Tando on set. By the end of my scene playing Tando, the dinner scene, I had found her. Because I was searching for her throughout, like from the beginning. So the beginning scene literally had like, I was talking to my sister about something, and he was like, "Why are you talking like that?" And I was like, what do you mean? Why am I talking like that? And I'm like, no, this is what I'm saying. He's like, I know what you're saying, but it doesn't sound real. It doesn't sound authentic. It's like your voice is different. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a different character. He's like, no, man, I real. And then he was like, yeah, it's very high pitched. You don't talk like that. Yeah. And he could say that because he knows me. I don't know if I was working with another director,
if they could pick it up.
They could pick that up because they don't know me like that. But just from that note, then I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I mustn't say that. I must be like, oh, because that's how people talk. They don't say, oh, like small things like that, And then that, when I changed that, it took the performance to another level. So he's very, very good at like looking at what it is you're missing or what it is that's not working out, and speaking to that and bringing that out of you. Yeah.
And I want to ask a fun question. If somebody was to play you, who do you think would keep it in a movie? If they were to play like in
South African,
anyone.
Oh, the world is my oyster.
Yeah, straight.
Who would be able to play me? Oh my gosh. Right now, who am I in love with? That I just think their acting is so phenomenal. And they try. Cindy Tando.
Cindy. Oh, she's an amazing actress.
Listen.
She's amazing.
Listen, what she's doing on Scandal.
Go.
Listen.
It's different from what she's doing on The Queen.
Thank you.
What she did.
Thank
I don't know
you.
if she's still doing
different
it.
from what she did on
She's amazing.
Exactly. And she transforms with every role, that's why I'm like, okay, this girl can.
Have you seen her in Blood and Water?
Listen, to Blood and Water as well.
She's like this.
Listen,
completely different person.
Listen,
she's good.
Yeah, no,
I concur.
That for me is, as an actor you can act. Acting you can do it. Yeah. But transforming into a character, characterization, those things, that's stuff that she gets. That I'm just like, this girl. Yeah. My money's on her. My money's on her. So yes, I would say Cindy Tando.
Okay. Yeah. And we once had a conversation about just feeling stuck as an actress, just feeling like no matter how many auditions you go to, no matter how many times you put yourself out there, it's not coming. The gigs are not coming. Your big break is not coming. And I want you to look into the camera. This white shot.
Oh, wait,
for anyone,
this one.
for anyone who's watching, who wants to be who is an actress actually, and is still stuck in that in-between place of not getting gigs, but going forward. You know, yeah. I want you to encourage that person.
Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Nothing ever came from people giving up.
Yeah.
Perseverance is the name of the game. Keep going. One day, one day it will be your time.
Yes.
One day you'll get your chance, and when you get it, kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really learned so much about you, about the craft too. I can't wait to see you. Hollywood, big screens.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
That's where we're headed there.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Well, that is the end of this particular conversation. But you know us, we keep the conversation alive on the socials. Please do hit us up on Facebook. It is Tembisa Content TV. We are also on Twitter. It is Tembisa_TV. We also do the things on the gram. It is Tembisa_CTV. Until next time, Mukororo Kova. Kaiba Masiara Wudi.